Gorgeous Wednesday afternoon, beautiful day. My name is Chuck Burge. We're here for the Three Guys Who Love Sports, a show that helps guys that are going through tough times, mental and physical, take a load off for an hour. And if we help somebody for an hour, you help somebody for an hour, everybody helps somebody for an hour. Everybody does a little, nobody has to do a lot. So that's what we're here for. Again, my name is Chuck Burge, here along with my co-host, Mr. Robert Kinney. How are you?
I'm good. If you help two friends and they help two friends, and so on, and so on.
That was a
and
commercial.
So on.
We can build a pyramid.
Yeah, that was a commercial.
Yeah, it was a shampoo commercial from the
There you
late
go.
70s.
Yeah.
We can build a pyramid,
Well,
and then we can start selling things.
And we got Adam, the associate producer.
Yes,
You like that?
that's fine.
Okay. And
Cool with
Larry,
that.
the most important guy here, because Larry's the only one that's never missed a week of the show.
This is true.
Yeah. So happy to have everybody here. And as always, happy to be at Miller's Ale House, where they have great food, great drinks, and great staff every week. Hey,
So,
Robert.
So, Chuck,
Yeah.
have you ventured off that one little line on the menu? They got that really big menu that's two-sided, and then it's just that one little itty-bitty spot that your eyes are drawn to
Every time
week.
I see Mimi, I think of my mom, because that's what we call my mom. I said, how can I go against my mom? Mimi's Fiesta Bowl again.
You would never go against your mom, Chuck. But that being said, we were at this location for 2 years without you ordering Mimi. So
I probably did not see it at some point in time, but now that we're there, we're there. Liechtenstein, Larry, what'd you get this week?
I got the sirloin and shrimp special.
Sirloin and shrimp special. And we know Talking Boy over there went for his burger.
Talking boy.
Yeah.
I like a burger with no cheese, please.
Is that what you got?
No, that's what
That's
he
what
ate.
I
Yeah.
got.
What'd you get, Robert?
I went fajitas.
Fajitas?
Yeah.
Steak? Chicken?
I didn't actually say.
Oh.
I was
Mystery.
hoping,
They
I was
only
planning-
have chicken these days.
I was
Oh, they
gonna
don't
say,
have
I
Sean
Chicken
is
more?
going to surprise
I
you.
was planning on chicken. I just didn't actually say.
Hopefully, it's chicken.
Yeah.
Could be fish.
Well, we'll be prepared just like you need to be, like Ron Smith tells us.
Making preparations for when you're not around anymore is not easy. Nobody likes to think about their own mortality, and we can talk about it next week. Doesn't always fit into the big picture. And that's why you should contact our friend Ron Smith at Senior Life Insurance. Whether you're being buried or cremated, costs keep going up, but you can lock in that price today and take this final expense off your to-do list. Do your loved ones a favor and take care of this final expense so that when your time does come knocking, they won't have to worry about it. If you're age 1 to 85, they have a plan ready for you, so please contact Ron and his team at 440-561-0758. That's right, 440-561-0758.
And we thank you, Ron Smith, for being the sponsor of the Three Guys Who Love Sports. And we another first-time guest, a good friend of mine from the 7th grade on, Mr. Joe Leon Smith. Joe, how are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm glad y'all invited me. Looking forward to maybe adding a little bit to the show.
Absolutely. You already have.
We'll allow you to do that. So,
And we're going to ask you lots of questions about Chuck later. 7th grade Chuck.
7th grade Chuck.
I don't want to know about 7th grade, Chuck. I'm good.
Yeah. Well, good. You know what? You can go outside. You don't
That's
have
why
to
you
listen.
get called Talking Boy, in case you're wondering.
Exactly.
That's fair.
All right. So Fall Classic approaches, getting close to the World Series here, and a lot of surprises going in baseball. Yesterday, the first 4 divisional series were all 1-1, and that's never happened before. So that's kind of wild. I picked the San Diego Padres last year to win because of the bats that they have. They obviously didn't come through last year, but they are coming through this year. They're hitting a ton of balls. They're scoring a lot of runs. They're up 2-1 on the Dodgers. Mets are 2-1 up on the Phillies. So the two best teams in the National League, probably the Dodgers and the Phillies, might not make the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Might not make the championship
NLCS.
series.
Yeah. The Padres have always had a good team. Their starting pitching is showing up. Musgrove and
He's hurt now, though, isn't he, Musgrove?
but he got them game 1 when they needed it.
He did.
And Yu's been good, and they've got some depth there. And like you said, Manny and Fernando.
Tatis.
And they're just amazing. And then that center fielder who's going to end up, second place in Rookie of the Year, he's been incredible. I'm trying to think of his
Is
name.
it Kennedy?
No.
I know who you're talking about, but yeah.
But right now, you got the Tigers up 3-0 in this game.
And that'll put them up 2-1, right? Over who are they playing?
The Tribe.
Oh, the Guardians, the Tribe Guardians. Yeah. They're still the Indians to me, Joe.
Yeah, I think you got to go with the Tigers because you just can't think of the Guardians as a team.
No, absolutely, absolutely. On nickname alone, you want to go with the other. But we talked about this last week. The Tigers were the hottest team over the last 2 months of the season, so it shouldn't come as a shock. Although it's always a shock when the team keeps winning.
Yep.
So
Tigers and the Yankees, maybe.
I hate the Yankees.
But
And
they're up 2-1 now, right?
2-1.
Yeah.
No, Yankees is
No,
1-1.
they're still 1-1.
Yankees-
They haven't
yeah,
played.
yeah, they haven't played
They
that
play
next game.
tonight.
But it scares me because this season, there's a lot of loaded teams out there, whether it be the Phillies and the Dodgers, and now all of a sudden, all of the potholes that the Yankees limousine might get trapped in are now getting paved over, and their path is becoming much smoother.
Yes,
I don't like
is.
it.
Yeah, makes it easy for the Yankees. If who knows? Wouldn't it be wild if the Mets and the Yankees wound up in the World Series?
I hated that Subway Series 22 years ago or whatever,
Yeah.
and I'll hate this one too.
Yeah.
Well, and Aaron Judge just hadn't really showed up in these playoffs. He hasn't provided anything. So you just wonder if maybe the Yankees are going to be like the Dodgers and they get so far and they just can't get over that next step.
They could, but somebody like Soto, Soto could get. They just have so many people. Although most of the teams at this point have a lot of guns, but
They do have a lot of players. So, I have to repick in the American League because I did have the Baltimore Orioles, as did you, I think, Robert.
all of my picks are gone, Chuck.
Yeah, the Braves and the Orioles. But I still have the Dodgers in, who I picked in the National League. But I just don't know anymore. I mean, that could be the Dodgers and the Mets.
I just think the Phillies have had their chance. It's kind of like with the Braves. They had a few years and had their chances. The Phillies had their chances and they've won a title, and now it's probably going to roll over to where the Mets are going to be the team for a couple of years.
That'd be all right. This would be this is the 6th year the Braves had won the East, and now this was the 7th that the Phillies
Correct.
got right. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Streak broken.
Yep. So baseball is hot in the middle of October. Like Robert said, Detroit's up 3-0. What inning are they in?
Detroit's at the end of the 6th.
All right. So
9 more outs.
yeah, so much has
Come
been
on,
happening,
Tribe.
but so much has been happening in the last 3 innings of these ball games.
Unbelievable.
It's been unbelievable what the Mets have done, homer after homer. The Polar Bears have been tearing it up.
The Phillies have lost their last 4 games when facing elimination.
Could be 5.
Nah,
as of
Could be
tonight.
5.
Yeah.
And those are crazy stats like anything else. Half the people on this team probably weren't around for four elimination games ago. But when you're losing when your back's against the wall, you're losing when your back's against the wall.
All right, cool. So that's enough about baseball. Joe, do you want to make a pick? Who do you think is going to win?
Well, I would like to see it wind up being the Tigers and or the Royals making it and playing the Mets, but I don't know if any of that's going to happen. The logical choice
Nobody knows.
is the Padres and the Yankees, but I'm going to pick the Mets to win it all.
Look at you. That's all right. I don't think there's anything wrong with that pick.
Somebody else is feeling that same way too.
Yeah, but I'm just sticking with the Dodgers because they were my original pick. I can't go off on that. All right, enough baseball for 1 week. Let's get into a couple more commercials and we'll talk about some important stuff like football.
There's a lot of places to get your oil changed in the Kennesaw area, but if you're looking for a personal experience, then stop in at Castro Kennesaw Express Loop or Lost Mountain Express Loop. We'll always do our best to get you in and out quickly and safely without a whole lot of fuss. We're a true owner-operated business, and you'll find Brian under a car or hood at one of the shops. We offer experienced, knowledgeable technicians and the latest computer software to help you maintain your new car warranty and keep your pride and joy running for the next 100,000 miles. We proudly offer Castrol products.
Yes, and thank you, Brian Bristow, for being a sponsor. Brian hadn't posted anything unusual today. So if he did, I missed it.
Yeah, it was something weird about his kid's like birthday or something. Like, come on, we need
Come
more.
on,
we need more crazy
we
stuff
need
from you.
Butterfinger, what it was, Reese's Cups or something
Those
like
are
that.
good ones. We're
Yeah.
okay with those.
All right.
Joshua Smith and his wife Tammy are both graduates of Kennesaw State College. He's been practicing law for 24 years, specializing in sports and entertainment law, while continuing in criminal defense, civil litigation, juvenile, and personal injury law. And he's ready to represent you all the way from your small town to the Supreme Court and any appellate court in between. With all the new rules regarding NIL and cash payments to athletes, they are placing a new emphasis on Kennesaw State University student athletics to help student athletes better navigate some of the bigger issues that have tripped up so many. Give them a call tomorrow at 706-217-2095.
What is that number?
That number again was 706-217-2095.
Thank you, Robert, and thank you, Joshua Smith. Joshua sent me something about the big decision about dividing all the money up. We'll get into that on the 7 o'clock show a little bit with the Owls who live sports. But we thank you, Joshua, for being a sponsor of both shows. Hey, Mark, we're ready to roll with some football. I got a great trivia question that started off college football today.
Let's hear it.
So several weeks ago, we talked about the longest winning streak, and it was Arizona, and Arizona lost that following week. So right now, who has the longest winning streak in college FBS football?
Somebody like BYU or
No.
I don't have a clue.
Any idea, Adam?
Longest winning streak in college football. I believe it would be Army at 9-0.
That would be the Army Black Knights. They are number one in the winning streak right now. So speaking of winning, was this the most unusual weekend for college football in decades?
I don't know about decades, but we talk about it all the time. We never know who's good and who's not good. And well, we got a little better idea after last weekend.
Well, if transitive properties are right, and I know they're
Transitive properties.
not, but Tech beat Georgia State. Georgia State beat Vandy. Vandy beat Alabama. Alabama beat Georgia. So Tech should beat Georgia.
Georgia Southern also beat Georgia State.
Yeah.
So Georgia Southern is also better than Georgia. Right now, Georgia is the third best team in the state of Georgia.
If we live by transitive properties.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Which we do not. Thank
moving
goodness.
on.
So obviously the biggest upset, was it Alabama losing to Vandy?
Yes, absolutely. They've only what year were you born?
2002.
Yeah, hadn't happened in his lifetime for 20 years before his lifetime. So
Hadn't happened for 40 years.
He was minus 22.
1986 was the last time Vandy beat.
But when
84.
when you think about it, yes, it's clearly the biggest upset, but it's not the most earth-shattering, I'll say.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Because Bama is still Bama, and Bama's still going to the Final 12. So
That's how somebody had them out of the playoffs because they lost.
Well,
yeah. Well, I
you would
think.
do the same thing if it was Georgia.
Well, I've got them out anyway.
Yeah, thank you.
So you know what really cracked me up?
The plaintiff rests.
I think the Northern Illinois victory over Notre Dame was bigger than this because it was at Notre Dame.
Well, I was going to say
I don't think this would have ever happened in Tuscaloosa.
Missouri's going to have a hard time getting back to where people believe they're good. There's some big losses that happen, but
My upset of the week was Cal being up 25 points late in the third quarter
not winning
and blowing it against Miami.
Yeah, there was 8.5 minutes left, and they were up that big, and
Well, with 8.5 minutes left, they were
the
up
third
20.
quarter.
Oh, in the third quarter.
Yeah.
With 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, they were up 25.
24, actually. And Alabama and California scored 25 straight to win.
You got to think about Arkansas and Tennessee, too.
absolutely.
Arkansas's at Tennessee, Neyland Stadium, 100,000
That was in
people.
that was in Knoxville.
Yeah, that was in Neyland Arkansas's quarterback gets hurt going into the fourth quarter. Backup quarterback comes in, scores the winning touchdown.
And what do you know about that backup quarterback?
I don't know anything about that backup quarterback.
Freshman out of North Cobb. He was running the team last year in Ackworth. So,
Was he really?
Yeah, he absolutely was. So you talk about a redshirt freshman sitting there holding the clipboard. All of a sudden, Malachi, get out there! And he scored the winning touchdown. I want to say he was 2 for 3 throwing the ball, and then ran the ball to get it in. But nice job by the local redshirt freshman.
From North Cobb. That's
North
pretty cool.
Cobb.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I watched the South Carolina Ole Miss game.
Did you turn it off?
No. I liked watching it.
South Carolina just I thought they were going to be a lot closer to the earlier version we had seen,
The one
with
that beats-
Sellers and everybody coming
The
back.
one that beat
but-
Kentucky 30-6 or whatever it was.
Correct, and the one that was beating LSU uncontrollably before all their players got hurt in that game. But man, they're not there yet.
No, they're not. They're not there. And now 3 of the top 4 are Big Ten schools, right?
Aha.
That's correct. No,
Yep.
that's fine. It's
Well,
exactly
Robert
what I'm-
predicted it. He said that they would wind up beating each other up.
Correct.
That the SEC would do
And-
that.
And going back to my original prediction, when these teams lose, they will fall behind the SEC teams. They will not, this isn't going to be, oh, you lost Penn State, you go from 4 to 6. They're not going from 4 to 6. They're going to 4 to after LSU or 4 to after Bama. So, it is what it is. But, hey, hats off to Penn State.
Yeah. Do you have a big college football favorite, Joe?
Well, of course, I've always followed Georgia Tech, and so that's always been the team I'd follow.
That's why we got along so well in junior high. Yeah.
But there's a story to that. My dad had a barbershop, and he had everybody
Gave
came,
me my very first haircut.
and
Joe's dad.
everybody that was a customer was a Georgia fan. So my daddy had to have a reason to poke fun at him. So he was always a Tech fan.
I met a woman the other day. Actually, I've known her for a while, but we were sitting at a Mexican restaurant talking, and she said, I became an Auburn fan to give grief to my dad when I was 6 years old because he was an Alabama fan. And she said, and I never knew. And I was bringing up the conversation about, you make the decision on who you're going to like when you're 6 or 7. And then, as my friend Wade Bradford says, I didn't realize I was going to be stuck with everything for the rest of my life. But, at the end of the day, she said the same thing. She was like, I really just started rooting on Auburn just to mess with my dad. But then it turned into who I was. I was like, there you go.
So the losses, the worst losses, were they the same games that the best wins were in? Was Alabama's the worst loss?
No, Miami. I don't think Miami was the best win of the week.
No. It was a heck of a comeback.
Yes, it was.
It was a good comeback.
But we're still looking at the ACC like,
I don't know what the ACC is, but I mean, Pitt is still undefeated somehow. No, my one of the week is Texas A&M. They played a good Missouri
Slaughtered
team,
Missouri.
and they took them behind the woodshed.
Yeah.
they did. And because of that, and a few other losses around the world, we're starting to forget about that
Notre Dame loss.
Notre Dame loss,
And they're
at
3
College Station.
they're 3-0 in the SEC. So they're the only team that's 3-0 in the SEC right now.
They're running the ball
Yeah.
really well.
So there are only 3 teams in the country that haven't won a football game yet in FBS. Can you name them?
Purdue.
They haven't won a football game?
No, our only win is an FCS team.
But that's right, but they've won a game. I'm
Okay.
talking about 3 teams that have not won a game.
Kennesaw
at all.
State.
That's one.
Kent State.
That's number 2. And UTEP.
UTEP?
Those are the 3 schools that haven't won a football game yet.
Hey, I just want to say we did not rehearse that, and 3 of us got an answer. I'm very excited about that.
That is. We don't rehearse much around here.
No,
do
we did
Well,
not.
one of those 3 teams has to get a win this year.
Yeah,
That is
because
correct.
UTEP plays Kennesaw State.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's a game we have a chance to. I watched UTEP play against somebody last week, and I can't remember who it was. But
I remember you saying, wow, we could beat that team.
yeah, so I think UTEP we got a shot.
How good is SMU? That's
Smoo?
I
Yeah.
watched them against Louisville. That was a really fun game to watch.
It
Sure
was.
is.
A lot
Yeah.
lot of back and forth, quick offense. At Louisville just couldn't stop the SMU run game. I thought the fumble at the end that gave SMU the touchdown, I thought that should have stood as a fumble. I don't think he was down, but either way, SMU they're undefeated in the ACC right now.
And they're in the top 25 now.
Yeah.
They're 24 or something like that.
And just to throw it out there, but they might not have been ranked as high. They might have both already lost a game. But, Michigan and USC getting punished by Washington and Minnesota this week. That once again, that Big Ten just took that next tier down to where they're starting to eat their own. and they're not real good teams.
Well, what's the difference between SEC beating each other up and the Big Ten beating each other up?
Because, and we've talked about this, you know this answer already.
I know. I just want to give you a chance to say it.
I know, but it frustrates me that I have to say it again already. The 10th best team in the SEC would pound the 5th best team in the Big Ten. So when the Big Ten starts losing to Minnesota and Rutgers and Illinois and stuff, it's not the same as going here, losing that, or
Rutgers
anything
just lost their first game, right, to Nebraska?
Yes, they lost 14-7 to Nebraska. That was
Scarlet Knights are
a
looking tough, baby.
defensive battle.
Indiana's still undefeated, right?
Yuck.
They are.
Yuck. I have a question. So Army and Navy are both undefeated, right?
Okay.
First time since 1945 that they've both been 5-0. They won a lot of road games that year. Do they have to move up the Army-Navy game if it has playoff implications?
They screwed themselves 3 years ago, and I remember long before I was lucky enough to be sitting in front of a microphone at Miller's Ale House on every Wednesday, telling people, why would you pigeonhole yourself like that? It's after the announcement of the things, and you've got another game, so you're basically saying, we don't want to get into your thing. I'd be surprised. I don't think they'll change it this year. I'd be surprised if they don't change it in the future because, if for some ungodly reason Roger Staubach the next Roger Staubach decides to go to one of these schools and they can do something, what a horrible thing. Oh, no, we can't have them go because they play a week later. Nobody cares about that game in Philadelphia enough to where you shouldn't let them play Oregon if they're supposed to. I'm just saying.
The other amazing thing about these two teams is they're some of the only teams that have no NIL money.
Oh, yeah.
All the service academies, none of them have.
The
And
service
they don't
academies
use the
have no NIL.
And they don't use the portal because if you're looking for a guy from Army, they can't take the guy from Northwest Louisiana State.
They can use the portal.
No, they can. It's just not their kind of guy. They want a guy.
Their players can't enter the portal after their sophomore year, I think. Once they're juniors and seniors, they can't enter the portal.
But yeah, I don't think has anybody ever left one of those schools in the portal?
I don't think
the
so.
portal's one way for them.
And once again, it's a reason why, it's like the commercials, Dad, this is what I want to do. You don't go to Toledo for a couple of years. I think I'm going to go up the river.
Is the portal the reason for all the issues that Georgia's having? I mean, I feel bad about the guy that was
Colby
arrested
Young.
this week.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, are players that are recruited through the portal, I bet they're not scrutinized the way they are the ones that they bring people to campus.
You're
think
absolutely right.
There's a number of reasons. It's the NIL money. It's the, I mean, even with conference realignment, it's just not. You don't have kids coming up on a legacy program where they live and breathe Georgia or Auburn or Alabama, and so they just weren't raised in that family tradition of honoring that school.
And like you said, when they're getting paid money as a 19-year-old to come to a new city, what do you would like them to be bashful, keep their head down, not walk on the campus like, woo, guess we just got paid.
You think about it, Buck Bellew was a Georgia hero, but
Sure.
he never had a Lamborghini.
No. It still hasn't.
Right.
Well, he might. I don't know what car he drives.
I don't. I'm going to go out on a limb and say
Buck's not driving a
but
Lambo.
Buck did not get paid that much money through Jacksonville either.
Yeah. All right. Real briefly, because we're running a little bit behind on time. Who's your favorite for the Heisman right now? Mine's definitely Ashton Genty.
Same.
Yeah.
Have you looked it up?
Have you looked up his numbers compared to Barry Sanders?
I have all the numbers here, but what's crazy is that the folks in the desert right now have him as the number one. And, he wasn't on the board before the season started, and now he's already moved up to plus 200. So you're not even making
He's
any
the favorite right now.
Correct. And
Ashton, yeah.
and what's really weird, Travis Hunter's number 2. I understand he's playing all these downs. He's playing all this. I don't see where that benefit. If I'm an NFL team, I do not want that kid because he played twice as much as everybody else, and I just don't see where Dion gets off screwing a guy's
Maybe
entire
that's why he's number
career.
2 because he plays for Dion.
Well, he's number 2 because he's playing every down on everything, and I realize that's an awesome thing. You know, a kickback to the 1950s and all that other stuff. You know, George Blanda or whoever else. But at the end of the day, do you want him on your team? The guy, we talk about somebody like Travis Henry and all the carries the guys had.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry. I'm sorry, I knew that was wrong when it came out of my mouth.
Have you seen Ashton Denny play?
I've seen it, and it's still tough to watch a blue football field. But,
He had what?
4 more touchdowns. this week.
13 carries, 189 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's up 16 touchdowns in 5 games. Incredible.
He's got what? He's got what? 5. It's close to 50 more yards than what Barry Sanders had through 5 games.
So through 5 games currently, he is 260 yards up on the rest of college football, which when you look at, I don't care if it's who led the college football or college basketball and shooting, it's always this small school, so this, and that's the way it's always been. So you look at this list and there are no contenders anywhere on the list, even on good teams. You have to go way down the list to find a guy at Texas A&M, but just amazing what he's doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, who's the receiver at Ohio State that they've got on the list?
Jeremiah Smith, their freshman.
No, the guy who got 3, Igjugba.
Egme Egbuka.
Egbuka. That guy's beast mode. Did you see some of his?
And the thing about Ohio State is they are a Heisman producing college. They know how to promote. They know how to get the name out there.
Absolutely. And going back to Chuck, one of your original things, is the porthole the reason why? No, when you're the best program and, whatever you want to say, top 5 program in the country, that's what Ohio State gets. That's what Georgia gets. You're getting the best of the best. And
somehow one of them slipped through their hands.
All right. Before we make our picks, we need to fire up our brains, and let's do that Brain Train commercial.
Hey, it's Melissa at Brain Train Centers, the fastest growing neurofeedback provider in the world, and I have some pretty important questions for you. Do you or someone you know struggle with focus and attention, sleep, memory, or other mood issues? Or maybe you just want to achieve more in high-pressure situations. Well, what if I told you you can unlock your brain's full potential and change your life entirely through neurofeedback, a drug-free and natural approach to negative moods, and it's backed by more than 50 years of research, so it's not new. It is safe for both children and adults as you retrain the brain to create new pathways. Medication may help short-term, but they don't address the underlying issues. Just as push-ups help your physical strength, neurofeedback is personal training for your brain. With over 20 offices nationwide, don't hesitate to reach out to Brain Train Centers, as we will provide you with the highest level of compassionate care and help you achieve the mental clarity, performance, and calm you deserve. Your journey to a better quality of life starts with a brain map. Now you can retrain your brain and reset your life. So just call or text 470-291-2778 or visit braintraincentersinc.com.
All right, thank you, Meg and Melissa, for being sponsors of Three Guys Who Love Sports. Here with Robert and Joe and Larry and Adam, talking sports.
And our bartender, Sean, who you just saw stick that beautiful shiny head in there.
Sean Fell's the man. Absolutely, yeah. All right. Yeah, there you go. That's some applause for Sean. So,
You're welcome.
All right. So we have need to make some picks, but before we make this week's picks, let's look at last week's picks.
Oh, Lord.
College, Chuck 4-1, Robert 3-2, Jonathan was 2-3, and Adam, what were you last week? 1-4.
1-4.
Wow.
And just for the record, that one game that I changed, it was one we all agreed on. I said, I can't go with that. I did win that
Texas
game.
A&M,
That was your only game you lost.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it is. No. Yeah, that's right. I had Missouri. Yep. All right. So, Joe, you get to play with us this week and make picks and see how well we do. So, The Red River Rivalry, isn't that what it's called?
Red
Yes.
River Rivalry
Yep.
at the Texas State Fair. One of my
The
bucket
Cotton
lists.
Bowl. That's where they play it, right?
They actually play it at Jared's World now.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Used to be it's Cotton Bowl. don't
Correct.
it? Yeah. All right. So,
When did they move it this year?
No, I think last year. Yeah, it's outside of the other. He'll look that up while we talk.
Yeah. All right. So Texas minus 14.5 at Oklahoma. I hear that Quentin Ewers is back under center this week.
When I pulled up the Heisman things, Arch Manning, remember he was like fourth like 2 weeks ago. He's back down to 97. So they're figuring Brock is back.
There you go. Or Quentin Ewers.
Cotton Bowl.
Cotton Bowl. There you go.
Cotton Bowl.
Texas big.
Yeah, State Fair. They have it there.
Yes.
It's at the State Fair. It's awesome. Texas wins this game going away. You know why?
Oklahoma sucks.
Because that stud quarterback is worried about that stud quarterback right behind him. He does not want to mess up in front of him.
Yep. I would probably have to take. I would probably take Texas as well.
Yeah, Texas will cover and without a problem.
You heard it from Joe.
Do I have
Henry.
to? Do I have to do it?
Tell me about the beer vendor.
Well,
whose
no, I'm gonna
son is a
do
tight
that
end.
anyway.
Okay.
I think this game's gonna be closer than people think it is because while Quinn Ewers is back, Texas might be looking down the road a little bit. They have Georgia next week.
Is it
at
next week
home.
they play?
Yes, it is. It is next week they play. That's going to be an insanely good game. Oklahoma is a freshman starting quarterback.
Loss number 2 for the dog.
Almost all of their receivers are out. I know Dion Burks was out. There were a couple other people that were out there. They're very short at receiver. Their O line has
they
some
should recruit
injuries.
taller people.
Yes,
If they're very short at receiver, I mean, that's,
Absolutely.
they're starting redshirt freshman walk-ons at receiver right now. So
you're
they're
taking
that's never
Oklahoma?
a good sign.
they're going to need some help. No, I'll take Quinn Ewers and the Longhorns,
Texas
even though I
across
should
the
have
board.
taken
And I'm not
Oklahoma.
going to change this one the way I did last week, but just know once again, this is just like the Georgia Auburn bet. This is a rivalry game. Somebody's giving you more than 2 touchdowns. You better take those points and run with it, except for this one time.
Yep. All right. Probably the biggest game of the week, in my opinion, anyway. Ohio
Absolutely.
State at Oregon. Ohio State is laying 3 at Oregon.
Tell us all about them.
Okay. Dylan Gabriel, the starting quarterback for Oregon. Will Howard, starting quarterback for Ohio State. Ohio State's got a lot of good receivers. Jeremiah Smith, one of the best freshmen in the country.
That's who Joe was talking about.
Buka.
Yes, Egme
Smith.
Egbuka and Jeremiah Smith. Fantastic wide receivers. Jeremiah Smith, only second to Ryan Williams right now as best freshman receiver in the country. Oregon's got a lot of talent. They've got a good running back. Jordan James, I think, is their running back. Fantastic all around at all the skill positions. I like this Ohio State team.
We're 5 minutes behind their popcorn vendor. Let's go.
I like this Ohio State team. They didn't play well against Iowa in the first half, only up 7-0. I'm going to take the Ducks.
Oh, wow.
So you're going to take the team that had a hard time with the Vandals.
Joe, how about you?
Yes.
I'm going to take Oregon just because I think Dan Lanning can outcoach Ryan Day.
I believe that. I
I
definitely
firmly
believe that.
believe that. They're my pick for the national championship. I got to take the Ducks.
Go ahead, and then I'll tell you guys why you're all wrong.
Why are we
do.
wrong?
This is like them going to a high school stadium. They're so used to going to all these Big Ten monsters, and it's like, wow, is this as big as this stadium is? They're not going to be overwhelmed. They're going to put up a big W.
Your OSU?
Yeah, and don't be surprised if it's not a lot of wide receivers and it's more of that ground and pound because, once again, Pac-10 teams are not big on that line yet and not ready for true Big Ten football.
Dan Lanning's never won a big game.
But
All right.
But you've got Chip Kelly as OSU's offensive coordinator. So
used to
you're
coach at
bringing-
Oregon, yeah.
You're bringing Pac-10 coaching into Ohio
but
State.
that's okay. He's got the big boys, so it's okay. He,
All right.
he runs the end
All
around
right,
there.
game number 3, Ole Miss laying 3.5 at LSU, and I believe this is a night game. I'm not sure.
Down in,
I think it is a night game.
Nothing like playing in Death Valley and Baton Rouge. In the, you know what I'm saying? I told you guys all 5 weeks ago, wait for LSU. oh, they lost that first week, man. They don't look good. Guess what? They're going to win some games, and they've been winning ever since. Give me this game, and then you can start to pencil them back into your final 12.
So you taking LSU plus 3.5?
Absolutely.
After watching Ole Miss play on Saturday, I almost changed this. But I am going to go with LSU as well. Saturday night in Death Valley is one of the toughest places to play, and I'm going to go with the LSU defense over the Ole Miss offense. Joe?
I agree. I'll go with LSU. I think it's, like you say, LSU's a tough place to play.
And the Reader's Digest condensed version of this
Garrett
game.
Nussmeier versus Jackson Dart. Ole Miss has got a lot of good receivers. LSU's got some good defense. Their starting edge, I think, is out. I think he tore his ACL for the year. If I keep picking the same games as Chuck, then I will have the same record as him. So I'm going to go LSU.
All right. I threw this one in because I thought it was interesting. Vandy plus 14 at Arkansas. Give me the Commodores.
Kentucky.
I'm sorry, Kentucky. I am sold that the Vandy is not as bad as everybody thinks they are. So I'll take Vandy.
I'll take Kentucky. I think if you're in a bar fight, you want Kentucky.
Joe,
They are just tough boys.
You're disagreeing with me.
I am disagreeing with you.
Okay. All right.
I'm also going to disagree with you, Chuck. Diego Pavia versus Brock Vandergriff. I like this. I like this Vanderbilt team, but there's going to be a little hangover from the
hangover.
Yes, from the hangover. Give
They're
me
still carrying the goalposts down
they,
Broadway.
They may not have it. Vandy may not have any goalposts. Give me the Wildcats.
All right, Robert.
I saw something the other day. They've fished those back out of the river. You know, it took 3 miles from the stadium to throw them in the river. They've already fished them back out of the river, and they're cutting them into 4-inch sections
And selling
them like hotcakes. I'm going to say this about that last week's game because the coolest thing that ever happened was them not busting those people and letting them keep walking for 3 miles down the center of town. You know, think about how easy it'd be to have campus cops not let you off campus, let alone Nashville city cops being like, hey, drunkie, go home. Yeah, they let it play out. They understand how awesome it is. I'm going Kentucky though. I think they're still hungover.
That $100,000 celebration that that Vanderbilt had.
Which
The auction will pay for.
Our Kansas's was $500,000, right?
$250,000.
$250,000.
Because
Yes.
that's their second offense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was Vanderbilt. I'm out of it.
Vanderbilt's first defense. That's why Vanderbilt doesn't do this.
The SEC changed the rules a couple of years ago.
Correct, but I don't think Vanderbilt's ever taken a goal.
Yeah, they did. So this is their first under the new rules. I read the
gotcha,
article.
I
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. All right. Last game, South Carolina plus 21 at Alabama.
I made jokes all Saturday going, man, I almost want to drive to Alabama so I can just listen to AM radio because, they're like, the only reason why we beat the Dogs is because Saban's people were there. Now this coach, he's the dumbest thing. Well, this coach is going to win big this week. Just know that. If he has to pull flea flicker reverses to win by 72, he will do so.
He'll do it. I got Bama as well.
Yeah, there's no doubt Alabama will cover. They could probably cover 50 if they wanted to.
Absolutely.
Malachi Moore complained, the starting safety for Alabama, complained this week about the defensive play calls not getting in quick enough. There was also an article written about Kalen DeBoer wearing T-shirts to practice.
We got 20 minutes left.
I know. I'm getting there.
No, you're not.
I'm taking Bama.
All right.
There we go.
All right. So we got one more commercial game, then we get into some NFL. It's a crazy week football-wise.
Yes, it is. Not that one. Nope, not that one. Sorry. There it comes. There it goes. Tired of going to the same old places for the same old thing? American Access has your solution. Whether you're looking for something new to do before or after the game, the most memorable workouting ever, or just wanting to take something else off your bucket list, American Access and their 3.5 Atlanta locations in Marietta, Tucker, downtown at the Works, and the uber cool new mobile access experience that can be set up anywhere you need. Give them keep an eye out for them at upcoming events and festivals and some Falcons games. Look them up at American Access or give us a call at 678-763-3635. That's right, 678-763-3635 to schedule your next adventure.
And we thank you, Dan, for sure being a sponsor of the Three Guys Who Love Sports. and we're going to make some more picks here in a few minutes. But first, we got to talk about these boys right here, the Mighty Birds. So what a real quick trivia question in the NFL. What team is the only one to score 30,000 points in the NFL? They scored their 30,000th point this weekend.
One of the old ones.
Yep.
Packers.
Green Bay Packers.
I was going to say the Bears.
30,000th point this weekend. So pretty cool. But got to talk
coulda
about
used
the
it-
Birds.
They could have used a few more because they lost, right?
Yeah. No, they won.
Oh.
They beat the Rams.
Oh, that's right. I
Yeah.
was thinking about the week
They
before
did.
when
They
they
won
had
by
that
5.
comeback.
Yep. And the spread was 3. So I'm glad the Rams missed their 2-point conversion. It would have been a push. All right. So got to talk about the Falcons. What a fabulous Thursday night game last week. I mean, fabulous. That's the Kirk Cousins we're looking for, right?
Still not stepping into the ball. So yeah, I mean 500 yards, and I understand. I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, but he's not stepping into any throws. So it scares me that we're just going to see blitz after blitz after blitz, because clearly when you don't blitz him, he's real comfortable.
Yeah. He's throwing the ball very well.
Very well.
And they did something this week, or did something in the first 5 games that's never been done in the NFL before. Everybody know what that is?
Yes, I do.
That's pretty cool.
They have never been ahead by more than 8 and never have trailed by more than 8.
That wasn't the other thing. That wasn't the thing I was talking
They
about.
have a more than 500 record.
No, they
They
have
got an
won
offensive
all
and
3
defensive
games.
player.
They have won all 3 games, having trailed in the last minute of the of regular game time.
This what we like to call unsustainable. We're gonna have to try something new one of these days, but
And
man,
we
it's
hope
fun
this
while
is
it's
a-
happening.
Yeah, what
Well, no,
a
it's-
great game to watch.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was listening to a guy on Sirius XM NFL radio today, and he brought up this great point, and I kind of noticed it. I did notice it, but never anybody to talk to the way they do. And so they were talking to the referee. What's his name? Blandino, I think he's
Dean Blandino.
Dean
correct. So
Blandino.
they were asking him, and he goes, they complete that last pass. He said, in every game I grew up watching in the 70s and 80s, the guy who's got to spot the ball is this fat old man who it takes like 9 minutes for him to waddle in the middle of the field. He goes, that guy streaked in there faster than any referee I've ever seen in my life. And they put it down, and you get 1 second. So literally, when you start looking at how unfathomable it is that we could win that game, it took a really in shape referee, or we don't win that game.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
On top of everything else, unbelievable, awesome stuff.
They were talking to Raheem Morris this afternoon, and he sort of said the same thing. He said it had to be perfection on everyone's part, including the referees. And so he was acknowledging that they got the ball spotted and lined up. And
Was that on 92.9 driving
Right.
in? Yeah, he had just quit when I got in the car. I wanted to hear that, but I didn't get to hear it.
And I wish the show that I was listening to, I could have called in, but of course you can't. That Blandino said at the end of a game like that, they don't worry so much to make sure that the spot is in the right spot, because they can review that after the play to make sure it gets into the right spot. But then I'm thinking, you can't change anything once you run a play. But clearly, according to him,
Well, that would have been very advantageous for the Falcons if they would have stopped and reviewed it, because then they got more time to get their kicks on the field. Because it happened to him in the first half when he wound up, or was it that kick? They got a delay game penalty, and they had to back him up
Correct.
5 yards. That was
Correct.
that play, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I thought the whole idea was as soon as you run a play, you can't go backwards, except for the final kick of a game, it sounds like. So
Yeah, and it's a credit to everybody on the Falcons team that hustled and got up there in time.
every single person.
Yeah.
Every single person.
Yeah.
It's not easy to get 11 people running, and because you've been playing all night and then running, stop perfectly. I mean, that's
And
not
I
easy.
stayed up till like 2:30 in the morning watching all the post-game stuff and all the interviews. That was a lot of fun. Hodge had a really good time. I don't know how he didn't get tackled by one of those 5 guys.
There's
who split
there's
through.
only one way. He was coming through, and there were so many on each side. It's kind of like a Malachi crunch.
Yeah.
And
You
These-
Like the
refer to that.
compactor in Star Wars.
Correct. All those same things, except for what ends up happening is these guys are worried these guys are going to hit them. So instead of them just annihilating Hodge, they all start to slow down right at the last second because it's getting ready to just, and he just squirts right down the middle. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, because who was it? Ray McLeod was there, threw a little bit of a block on one of the 5 guys.
Yep, got in front of somebody.
But
And to his credit, he was blocking with his hands up in the air.
Ray?
I'm not holding.
I don't
I'm
wanna
not
get called on
touching
this one.
anybody.
Don't want to get called.
And I really liked Al Michaels' call. Al Michaels is so cool. He's not Jim Nantz, but I like Al Michaels. He doesn't get overexcited, but you know what? He lets the play speak for itself. He doesn't have to yell like a sucker-fee does to get his point across. He just does his job.
I wish you wouldn't keep so many emotions inside because I can tell you're just not letting it out.
I don't know how he
It's not
feels
like
about
suck-a-fee or any of that
Pat
garbage.
McAfee.
Yeah, he stunk. He's horrible. He's horrible. All right, how much time do we have left? Because we still have a few minutes. We breezed through that.
I did see.
Did you want to say more about the Falcons?
No. I'm all excited about the Falcons. Mooney, I love Mooney. For a guy who we weren't sure who would be our number 2, man, guy has really showed up.
And Kyle Pitts showed up.
Kyle Pitts finally got some targets, and that goes. Without Kyle Pitts, you can't get to 500 yards. You can only get to 500 yards if everybody's.
And I don't think we talked last week about Matt Ryan being inducted to the Falcons Hall of Fame. I thought that was very, very cool. I hated to see Kirk Cousins break his most yards in a game record by 6 yards on the night that he's inducted, but Matt's still Matt. He gave a
Absolutely.
very gracious speech at halftime. I went back and watched it.
It was nice.
Yeah, happy to see Ryan in that ring.
Yeah, well, I mean, clearly,
Best Falcon ever.
If there's any defense in a second half at one point, he's first ballot Hall of Famer, let alone your own Ring of Honor. So
Yeah. Well, and you know what? You mentioned defense, and we need to talk a little bit about the Falcons' defense because they had given up 24 points at halftime. They only gave up 6 points in the second half. So whatever adjustments they made at halftime worked. Robert made a good point to me off the air the other day when he said, well, you know what? Falcons kept the ball so much. They just didn't have the ball enough.
right.
But very impressive. They made another pickup the last couple of days. Falcon picked up somebody else. I don't remember who it was. And I know there was a guy that somebody dropped today. I was wondering, Devon White? He used to be was with Michigan, and he signed a deal with Tampa Bay out of college, and then he spent 1 year signed a 1 year deal with Philadelphia, but he got cut yesterday. And I was wondering if the Falcons are going to bring him back because Lanham's back this week, so he was taken off injured reserve or what it was. So hopefully he'll play. Hopefully Anderson will be back this week.
Yeah, he's day to day.
Is he? Eric Anderson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How wonderful is it to win on a Thursday to where you already know you're golden. You put on your shirt Sunday morning. You're like, yeah, you suckers, you're all gonna have to sweat it out to see if your team won. Mine already won, and so you got all those extra days of rest going into the Carolina game. It's working out perfectly.
Who got drubbed by the Bears. Yeah, and I saw them. I saw the Falcons. There's so many different polls now, NFL polls by CBS and all the writers and all that stuff. Falcons are as high as 7 and as low as 12, which is probably about where they belong, based on what they've done.
Absolutely, and once again, 7 to 12 means they expect them to be in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and
third seed in most of people's polls,
and
because they lead the NFC South.
Correct. But it's like we say for poker, chip in a chair. You get invited, anything can happen.
Absolutely.
Just look at the Mets,
Speaking of that, what are you doing
the
Friday night?
Tigers. I don't know.
We need a fifth, so think about it.
Oh, poker,
Yeah.
chip in a chair. So you bring it up, and then it all of a sudden happens.
There you go. Yeah. All right. So other games, of course, Robert Salah got canned yesterday, and I did see Aaron Rodgers' interview said he had nothing to do with it. Said Salah, Robert, what's the owner's name? Woody Johnson, called him and said, just want to see how he's feeling because he got a little bit of a tweaked ankle on Sunday. But Rodgers said he didn't say anything to me about the firing.
He had nothing to do with it.
That's what he said.
Yeah, you know, once you've been the guy who's always had something to do with it, I don't know that anybody ever believes you. I did hear where that's the first time the owner has done anything mid-season. Every time, you know, this is a guy who's always
Woody
waited.
Johnson, yeah.
But he said this is the best Jets team that has ever been assembled, possibly. It's like, well, no, really not. Didn't the Jacksonville owner say the same thing not too long? We've got to win now. This is the best team. Well, man, might not be the best team, but
Yeah.
you know, see what happens.
But they're actually playing for the first place in the AFC East this week. They play Buffalo, right?
Yep. You know, Bills. You know, I think they're
Had a
getting ready
tough
to turn.
time down in Houston.
No, I think they're just getting ready to turn it over to Josh and just say, just do your thing, because you know nobody wants him to run into defensive linemen, but that's how you win. And so by them worrying about him in week 17, you're not winning in week 4 and week 5. So
Yeah. A lot of people got hurt this weekend too.
many.
Mike, what's the guy? Wide receiver Nico Collins.
Nico Collins
He's
is
out
gone.
for a while. Oakland lost another defensive player. Devontae Adams still isn't playing. There were several people that took it on the chin. Derek Carr is another one.
And he's going to be out for a few
A-Chain's
weeks.
hurt. So
Concussion protocol. Luckily for Achan,
helped me a lot Sunday.
he's got a bye. So
Yeah.
you know, there's a chance that he only misses. Maybe he
The
doesn't
one
miss
game.
any game.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever. I saw this stat and it blew me away. Quarterback with the best QBR number right now.
Jaden Daniels.
Lamar.
Flacco.
Ha
Joe Flacco.
And guess who is the worst? Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, I did.
So, you know, if you're the owner or you're the team and you, man, this is the guy.
Or the Browns.
But these are your two guys. One is the worst, and as much as I don't like Flacco, well, this guy's number one right now. I mean, just dumb. So just keep an eye on that one. If they say Anthony Richardson is healthy and ready to start, just shake your head and know that Jim Irsay is making too many decisions again.
Yep. So, pretty interesting weekend of football from a professional standpoint. Went 5-0 in my tub, which I've not done in a long time. So I'm probably go 0-5 this weekend because that crap all balances out.
No, you're going to go 9-1 and come in second place
Come in
again.
second place again. I can go 8-2 and lose money. I just can't figure that out. Just kill me this weekend. All right, so let's make us some professional picks. We've got starting with Tampa Bay, our division players against teams against each other. Tampa Bay -2.5 at New Orleans.
Boy, New Orleans does not look good with Carr being hurt. So, you know, expect Kamara to get the ball a lot in this one. But I'm going to take Baker. Baker's looked good, and Baker doesn't care when he goes on the road. He's not one of those guys.
Yeah, I'm still baffled by the fact that Baker only threw for 180. Kurt throws for 509, and we have to win in overtime.
Right. Well, he did it so efficiently.
Yeah.
You know, what did he have? 140 yards passing with 3 touchdowns in the first half. You know?
Yeah.
Just super easy, super efficient.
All right, so you're taking TB.
Yeah, and I don't like to take them.
So Tampa's 3-2 as well, right? We're tied with them.
That's
Yes.
correct.
Yeah, I'd love to see New Orleans win, but without Derek Carr, I don't think they have much of a chance. I'll go with Tampa Bay as well.
Yeah, I'll go with Tampa. I think Baker's kind of found a home there. He's playing good. So
How good would the Browns be if they still had Baker? I mean,
would
they'd
be
be
a
better
lot
than they
better.
are with.
I told somebody the other day, I said, I think they'd be top 3 teams in the, you know, you could say the 4th team, you know, Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore.
I read a stat the other day that if the Browns released Deshaun Watson right now, his dead cap space would take up 66% of their salary cap.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
They wouldn't even be able to field a 53-man roster with veteran minimums.
That's crazy. All right,
Larry
Adam,
is the quarterback.
Who you got?
I'll take Tampa Bay. I hope the Saints hand it off to Alvin Kamara, and he gets me a lot of fantasy points.
All right, cool. Game number 2, Detroit -3.5 at Dallas.
Is Dallas
Interesting
back?
pick.
Tell me about it.
No.
Did Dallas ever leave?
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah, they started the season not good. They've continued to be not good. If Dak Prescott is the first quarterback ever to throw 2 interceptions on the same game, to throw an interception in the same game on 2 different days. I don't know why that's a stat, but he threw an interception on Sunday and on Monday. That's how long that game took.
Congrats. Well, it didn't start till 9:45.
So
Lightning and stuff.
yeah, I'll take Dallas, but I'm not happy about it.
I'll take Detroit.
I'm with Joe.
Yeah, I think Dallas is just in too much of a mess right now.
And Dallas did start out hot. They started with Cleveland, the Bakerless Browns, and but yeah, I'm gonna go Detroit. Detroit's coming off a bye, so and man, that running game. I don't know that there's a more impressive running game in all of professional football right now. It seems like whoever the opponent was, if you don't like big bodies, then we're going to give you Montgomery 40 times, and if you're good with that, then Gibbs is going to get the ball out in the flats, and they just seem to always have a good answer.
They're a good football team. Detroit's
are.
is good. This is probably their best chance to make it to the Super Bowl, being one of the 4 teams that haven't been there.
And that being said, because we just have an extra second, how quickly, when do you expect Mr. Campbell to ruin that for them?
As soon as he can.
We're going for 2. Wait, we're good. I get so nervous. I watched a game earlier this year, and I want to say, did they play the Rams already?
Yeah, they did on a Sunday night, I think.
There you go. So I was watching that game, and it was down towards the end of the game, and Detroit's driving, and you're wondering, are they going to call the timeouts? And you could tell he was very uncomfortable, and he kept looking over at Sean McVay, and Sean McVay's just standing like this, and he's
With
talking
his
to
Waffle House menu.
and he's talking to his people upstairs, going, he's freaking out right now because I'm not calling timeouts, and all of a sudden he's like. And it was like, wow, why would you call that timeout? Because you thought he was going to, and you didn't. He's very uncomfortable in that situation.
Yes, he is. He is. All right. Washington plus 6.5 at the Ravens.
Wow, what a game.
I know.
It is.
That's the current king of quarterbacks versus the heir apparent.
Absolutely, and they're kind of similar looking in their
Right.
own
Very much so, yeah.
style.
And as much as I would love to pick Washington, because I'm a big Jaden Daniels fan, I think Baltimore's still just a little more experienced and a little deeper, a little more talent.
And at home,
And at home.
never hurts.
The Ravens don't have a defense. They proved that this week against the Bengals.
5 touchdowns for Joe Burrow.
Yes, which I'm hoping the Ravens defense lets again. I'll pick Washington. I never pick against Lamar, but I will this week.
I will pick against Lamar, too. I think Washington's one of the more fun teams to watch, and I think they're one of the more talented teams to watch. He throws a nice deep ball. He hit
Yes, he
somebody
does.
down in the corner of the end zone. Smith. I don't
Scary
remember.
Terry?
Yeah. No, it was somebody else.
Yeah, Scary
Brown or
Terry didn't
Smith.
get one.
Yeah, he
I
didn't
needed
get
one. I needed one. Dang you.
But they look good. Washington looks good. And I know it was only Cleveland, but they played a really good ball game against Cleveland. I'm going to take Washington plus the points.
Man, I was feeling really good about my Washington pick. When Joe had given his pick, and I thought, okay, these two, let them all
I'll flip
go
to
there.
Baltimore for you.
Yeah, well,
Would
you're
that
a
make
Lamar
you,
guy.
would that-
You're gonna
I'll
claim
pick,
you were rooting
I'll
for
pick
him anyway.
Baltimore.
At the end of the day,
Are you officially switching?
Yes, I will flip. Give me Baltimore.
the one thing I want to take back in my retraction of the two guys who kind of play similarly, he does throw a great deep ball. Lamar still hasn't learned how to throw a deep ball unless you're open by 4 yards, so it's really not a fair comparison. This guy is unbelievable. I'll take
The ex-fighting Heineke's.
I'll take the Commodores.
All right. All right.
Commodores?
Commanders, Commodores,
Commander,
whatever
what
they
do you
are.
want to call it?
I was thinking Vandy.
All right.
I'm not allowed to say the racial slur that they were originally named after for the first 85 years.
A battle for the lead in the AFC East. Buffalo minus 2.5 at New York.
I'm going to look at Sean while I take this one first and just say Buffalo is going to take them behind the woodshed, and they're going to beat that new head coach. And of all the different things I can't wait to hear, I just can't wait to hear Aaron's message after the whole game. We're going to beat them bad. big time Josh Allen night.
I'm going to go with Buffalo as well.
I agree. New York's just got too many things going on.
Adam?
I'm going to also look at Sean when I say this. This is the worst division in the NFL. Like, the worst division in the NFL.
If Tua was healthy, you wouldn't say that. So I don't
No,
know.
I might still
They're
say
currently
that.
bad.
They're not good.
It's nice that it's not us this year.
Exactly.
It is nice. It is nice.
I don't like the Jets. I need Josh Allen to not have a big day, but I'll go Buffalo.
Everybody's on Buffalo.
Means you should bet on the Jets.
Exactly. All right, and the last game of the week, obviously our first place Falcons against the hapless Carolina Panthers.
I didn't hear what you said. What did you say?
The hapless Carolina
Before
Panthers.
that part.
Our first place.
Oh, first
Atlanta
place.
Falcons.
I like that.
Tied
like
first
that.
place. Tied first place.
No.
No, we
first
have the
place.
tiebreaker.
They have the
We're first place.
tiebreaker. They're 2-0 in the division. All right. I'm going to take the Falcons. You know, they've won a lot of close ball games. To prove themselves, they need to whip the crap out of somebody, and I think this is the week that they do it. Go
Yeah.
Falcons.
So saith the Burge.
I think Michael Penix will get some cleanup duty in the fourth
Wow.
quarter. by the
I'd love
time-
to see Penix on
By
That
the
would
that.
be-
time this is over.
Yeah.
That would be the greatest thing anybody said on this show today.
It
if that
would
happens.
be if that happens, yeah.
You know what? Screw you people. Give me Andy Dalton.
Yeah, you can take the
I
red
want the
rifle.
red rifle. I love the red rifle. He's got some great receivers. Adam Thielen,
He's
Xavier
out.
Leggett,
80-year-old
Chuba
Adam
Hubbard.
Thielen.
Give me Carolina.
One of those guys is broken and contemplating retirement, but I like the way you're thinking. I think we should paint Adam's head red, and we'll call him the Red Rifle after this next week. Falcons in a big way. I keep saying it. I said it last week. I said, look, this team wins a lot of different ways. The offense is going to have to show up. Offense did, but this time we run the ball.
Well,
Whether
but
it be
but
Robinson and Algier.
You agree with it? We do need to pound somebody to get the respect that we need.
But I don't think we need to win 42. I think handoff.
If we
is a
win by
good
more
beatdown.
than 7, to me it's a plus because
long as
we
it's
haven't been
9
ahead by more
point.
than 7 yet, right?
No, you're right. No, I think this is a 2-touchdown game, and I'm hoping each running back has at least 15 carries.
Yep. I would love to see it.
Ideal.
I don't know what
And
the
Penix-
weather's going to
and
be in.
Penix throws the ball around a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what the weather's supposed to be in Carolina. I don't think the storm's going to affect anything
It's
in
not.
Carolina. Yeah. All right, Joe, you picked Falcons, right?
Yes.
All right. Adam, do you have something else you got to say because we're 2 minutes over?
I do not.
All right. Well, Joe, we appreciate you coming in all the way from Dallas, brother. Robert, good show. Guys, we appreciate everybody. Go Falcons. Go Georgia Tech. Go Georgia Southern. Go Georgia State. Go Kennesaw State. And we'll leave it at that. Until next week, guys, know your numbers. Cover your ass. Get your prostate checked. We'll see you.